presented by Horns and Hooves Entertainment. You are watching Buffalo After Dark.
Hi, welcome to Buffalo After Dark, everybody. It is Wednesday night, February 9th. And of course, you've got the usual group here. So, of course, you've got Bobby and Mr. Bubba Matt here. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. Yourself?
Doing good, and can't complain. Middle of the week. It's the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. And, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good too, man. Just got out of work. Actually, in the middle of assembling my way too early birthday gift, but hey, it's all good. I'm here, so I figured I'd try to kill two birds with one stone.
There you go.
Yep. And for me, me and the future wifey over here, or the wife to be, or at this point, my wife, depending how you look at it, decided to do something a little different this time around for dinner. And I have decided to cook us some alligator for dinner.
There you go. You're going a little exotic today, huh?
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't too bad either. And I will say, though, would I do it again? Sure, without a doubt. But it's more like something you serve once in a while. It's very crisp. It's like chicken and then like a bit of like pork in between. It's very
like chicken nuggets.
Yeah, basically.
And air fried it.
Yeah, I air fried the gators. So it worked out perfectly. And then I had filet mignon steak with it.
Ooh.
And I had fresh baked potatoes, and I had broccoli to go with it.
Nice.
Not bad.
Nice.
Not bad, my man.
Yeah. I'm pretty proud of that dish. I will say that for sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, of course, you guys know the deal. If you want to jump on, 92920560099 is what gets you on to talk with all of us. Britt's in the background. Of course, anyone else who wants to jump in is more than welcome to. Let's talk about a couple of quick things here with the Bills, and then, of course, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl coming up. The Bills actually made a few coaching changes this week, and this is in addition to, of course, Ken Dorsey being promoted, but we have a familiar face coming back, and I know, Bobby, this is one of the things you were talking about earlier in this week. Aaron Kromer is coming back from the Rex Ryan era. He's going to be the offensive line coach.
But at least, to be fair, though, I think when Kromer was there, I think the run game was actually pretty solid with Shady McCoy. So who knows? I mean, maybe the Bills could, go all in this offseason, get some reinforcements and trade for a number one running back. Like I've been saying last week on the show that they should trade for Saquon Barkley. And if you do that, then Kromer's magic will come to light.
Yeah, and of course, the Bills need help on the run game, and they need to be much more consistent with the run game. So, it's not a bad deal. I don't think it's a bad move, actually, bringing him back. And I didn't mind him when he was here.
It's just too bad, though, that he had to leave and went to the Rams and turned that running game into a star. Look what happened there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they learned a thing or two. I also will say this. Don't be surprised if you hear the name Austin Corbett being brought up as a free agent linked to the Bills, considering that he is currently a lineman for the Rams and during the Super Bowl. Don't be surprised if he ends up leaving the Rams to go to the Bills in the offseason.
There's definitely a move we could always take a look at. And, I mean, who knows what could happen.
Yeah, and you know what, too? It's funny because I read articles everywhere for the last, couple of days where they were saying that some trade candidates or release candidates could be on the horizon, being Mitch Morse, Cole Beasley, and a few others. I think Starler Tulane was another player that was mentioned to be cut. So I don't know. I'm not convinced they're going to, release Cole Beasley that easily. I think they're going to trade him. I firmly believe that. They could use him as trade bait for an upgrade of a receiver, maybe, I suggest, or maybe get a mid-round pick for him. I don't know. But the Bills have a lot of work cut out for them.
That's very true. That's very true. And then one of the other things that ended up coming up this past week is that Matt Smiley has been promoted to the special teams coordinator spot.
What a name. What a
Matt
name.
Smiley.
Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Smiley. Yeah.
So...
That sounds, I will say, though, that sounds a lot like the mascot for Disturbed.
Yeah, it does in a way.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy with the hoodie with the big grin.
Yep.
He has chain blocks all around him. Yeah, that's who he reminds me with that name.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting little move there. So, and then we've already got a couple of things in the chat. So Chris Carrillo, he's been on the page before. He said, "What's up? Long time no talk." Well, Chris, I know you're out in LA somewhere, and I know you're waiting for soccer season to start. But if you want to call in and jump in,
Evening, fellow kids.
so the next thing, of course, obviously, the Super Bowl is this Sunday, and of course, I made my last pick in the office pool this week. So
Yeah, we all did.
yeah,
So you said Bengals, right?
yep, I'm going with a 24-21 win.
Okay. And then you said the Rams, Sean, last week?
I did a couple weeks ago, but last week I changed my mind to the Bengals, and I got them winning 30-24.
Okay. And then I said 29-24 Cincinnati last week. And I still stand by it. And I think Brittany said the Rams last week. So it's kind of funny because
I didn't know. I said the Rams, but not by a lot. It's going to be a really close game.
we'll find out come Super Bowl Sunday. And the best part about Sunday afternoon going into the night is Britt and I are going to be cooking, appetizers and, an entree for the Super Bowl. We're going to be making baby back ribs.
Slow in the
Oh, nice.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and-
You're talking my language.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I also,
then, fried pickles and
Okay.
what else am I saying? And wings with
Yeah.
different sauces.
yeah, and
Nice.
we're making pickled pucks. So we're making cheese pickles, which are like donut shaped, and you put mozzarella cheese, like 2 layers of mozzarella cheese in the oven, and then you air fry them. And then from there on out, they're like really crisp, and it's like keto. And I'm making pickled pucks, and then we're gonna be making baby back ribs, and we're gonna be making a bunch of other shit. So I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to cook on Sunday, even though it's like 6 hours before the Super Bowl. So I'm excited to do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's actually
Nice.
one of the things I'll have to do is throw some wings in the air fryer because I actually have one of those also. And I will say, I remember sending you the Bill's Mafia sauces not too long ago, and I actually have some of that still in my cupboard too. I actually bought a couple extras for me, and I will say when I did the air fried wings for the first time, and I actually ended up using some of those sauces. So it's really good. I mean, I thought it worked out pretty well. And I mean, the barbecue, did the mild one I sent you, and then also, I mean, of course, I had to use hot. I mean, there's no way I
like
couldn't
the
go with
barbecue
hot.
one.
Yeah, Brett likes the barbecue one the most.
It was good. It's good.
I'm not a spice person. It has a little bit of a tang to it afterwards, but it's
Mhm.
really good.
Yeah, I definitely thought so. That was one of the things I noticed, and it actually reminded me of a pizza place that I grew up with that ended up being sold off to a different place now. But there was a place when I was a kid. It was called the Pizza Factory. It was out in Cheektowaga, and I mean, it was open for over 30 something years. I mean, it was around forever. Actually, probably closer to 40 plus years. But they had really good wings. They had good pizza there. It was always consistent. I mean, the barbecue sauce actually reminded me a lot of what theirs was. And it was just stuff I grew up on and always loved it. But I will say, out of some of the different barbecue sauces, though, you can never go wrong with Casey Masterpiece, and you can never go wrong with a good bullseye.
Yeah, very much so. But there is a lot of like things that people tend to eat a lot. But like my favorite thing that's going to be coming up is the fact that we're making ribs and a bunch of pickled ingredients. So we actually bought a whole jar of pickles. That's probably about this big. I think they're like sliced pickles. And we're going to buy mozzarella cheese on either Friday or Saturday, and we're going to air fry them and stuff like that. So it's going to be really good. We're really excited to do it.
Nice. Well, one thing I was going to say is, and this is actually one thing I know we were talking about our Bill's road trip at some point, but we definitely got to hit up some barbecue. That we got.
Yes. That is
Cincinnati
that is
style
an
barbecue.
absolute must.
Yes,
Yeah, you know what I'm
Absolute
talking about?
must.
What?
Yep.
Cincinnati style barbecue.
Definitely got to hit up barbecue. Definitely want to drink some beer with you guys, and all will be good.
Yeah. Isn't there chili that was made up there too?
Yeah, they have Skyline. Usually, most people order it 3-way.
Well, there you have it. They have Cincinnati style chili and they have Cincinnati style barbecue.
There you go.
I love a good
Mhm.
barbecue.
Well, Cincinnati's got a lot of barbecue going on. Oh, and speaking of barbecue, did you guys hear what's been going on in Arizona lately?
What about them? The Arizona Coyotes, where Bettman still thinks that they're actually a legit franchise, or Kyler Murray possibly being out?
Well, both actually. Let's start with the Coyotes. So the first one, I actually screenshot this last week on Thursday, and this issue starts from NHL News Update. Which Sean, I recommend you you subscribe to them on Facebook or whatever. That says problems continue to rise for the Yotes in their arena efforts. As of sources from Elliot Friedman, at last night's intermission, there's an issue with the new Arizona Coyotes arena so there are issues with the new Coyotes arena in which they are trying to build within being near the airports in Tempe. It could affect the flight path of planes arriving and departing, and a meeting is expected to be held to discuss the issue prior to February 10th vote on the new arena. But as of right now, things are certainly at another standstill. And even then, the Yotes and pretty much the council are basically saying, no, this Yotes idea going to AC or ASU is just not working out. It's not a good idea, etc. So the Yotes are in trouble again. So, and Gary Bettman's under this delusion that he thinks that, and he truly believes this too, that they're a successful franchise. I'm like, dude, what are you up to? Like, what are you smoking?
Right, let's see. When the Arizona Coyotes were in the playoffs and they had that really good run that one year, they still didn't have the fan support. They don't have the fan support. Their arena is completely on the wrong side of town for where the fans are. And even then, they still can't get the fans. So they've been there for over 20 years. If you don't have the fans now, you're never going to get the fans. And quite honestly, I'd rather see them either locate to another city here in the U.S. or preferably, I would love to see Quebec City get their team back.
Yeah, but the problem is Bettman won't allow it.
Well, screw Bettman. He's delusional.
Well, we all know that, but like in reality, though, that's just the truth. Is that the fact that the Yotes are not staying in Arizona and it's not looking pretty for them. And on top of all that, he really wants them to work. I mean, if they're like Vegas Golden Knights good, then I think they would have a fan base. But I feel bad for all five of them.
Well, I mean, with Vegas, they marketed that so well, and Seattle marketed their team well. And even though Seattle's not playing as well as they could, I mean, they've been hit with injuries. There's been a lot of things going on. I mean, they're still loving the fact that they have a team back, and Seattle has that natural support. They're a good hockey town. Vegas is doing way better than I would have ever even expected. And the fact that Vegas consistently is playing well, they went to the Cup their first year, and they got
a friggin' All-Star game this past weekend.
Yeah, they had that. So Vegas surprisingly is doing much better than I would have thought, and kudos to them. I mean, I'm glad to see Vegas doing well. Arizona, on the other hand, though, they've had all this time to get that support, and they just don't have it.
Yeah, pull the plug. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, look, yeah, you might as well just pull the plug. Literally, nothing's working, and again, like as Tom said, you had this stuff for 20 years, and if you haven't gotten the fans back then, yeah, you're not going to get them now. So you might as well just pull the plug, move out of Arizona, whatever you got to do. But of course, obviously, Bettman won't let it happen. So either way, Arizona's screwed.
Right.
Yeah, they're not getting a new stadium anytime soon.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Quebec's got a brand new arena for them, and they sell out 18,000 plus seats for junior hockey. What does that tell you about the fan base?
It absolutely fits with everything. Hockey. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at it from the ground up, I mean, if you go back to the summer where they were talking about saying this is their last season in Arizona, and then they got really desperate by saying, oh, we're going to play at Chase Field, a fucking baseball stadium, just so for at least 3 years. And then they got kicked out of that, and they're getting kicked out of Tempe because they're not paying their rent or some shit like that, if you remember that. And on top of all that, the council shut down the vote on a brand new arena. And now they got even more desperate to go over at ASU, and even they don't want them there.
Right. And the funny thing about ASU, it's a 5,000 seat arena, and Bettman's like, oh yeah, they're going to do well. They're going to sell out. It's like, nobody wants them.
Talk about propaganda.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh.
But literally, you move them to the east. I mean, there you go. I mean, Put them in Quebec City. I don't care what Bettman thinks about, oh, well, the Canadian dollar. Well, the Canadian dollar is not that far off of the American dollar and hasn't been for years. Put it in Quebec City. They have an 18,000 plus seat arena that's brand new, is built to NHL standards. They sell out for junior hockey. They love hockey up there. They want hockey up there. They have an established fan base. And basically, even if they were not to play that well up there, they're still going to get supported up there.
I mean, look at Seattle. I mean, look at the Kraken now. They might be terrible. I mean, they're an expansion team and it's their first season. I'm not going to give them too much crap because they could still build a good team from the ground up. But look at that team and compare that to Arizona. Arizona has been in the desert for 25 years since moving from Winnipeg, and they've done nothing with it. And they had, what, 2 good years altogether within that 25-year span?
Yeah.
One conference final appearance out of their ass, and they have done nothing since then. I mean, how many careers have they ruined?
A bunch of them.
Oh gosh.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
How many careers have they ruined? Keith Kachuk, Jeremy Roenick, Brett Hall, freaking Curtis Joseph, Shane Doan, the greatest Yotes player ever,
Yeah.
Keith Yandel. Can I keep going? Freaking Phil Kessel right now, Clayton Keller. I wouldn't be shocked if they traded his ass soon, even though he's a good player. Who else wants out of Arizona or played for Arizona?
Devin Dubnyk.
Devin Dubnyk. That's another. Whoa, Jesus Christ! Arizona is so desperate, man.
Yeah.
They're there.
OEL was glad to get out.
And you know what's really sad too is Arizona 10 years ago almost moved out. I don't know if you know this, Sean, but they were in a similar situation what they were in 10 years ago. And Bettman had a choice to make because 2 teams were not doing well. And that was the Arizona Coyotes or the Phoenix Coyotes at the time or the Atlanta Thrashers. And he had to pick a market of which one he was going to move. And it turns out that the Atlanta Thrashers were the ones to go.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. Probably might have been was a mistake to pick Atlanta over Arizona.
You're probably right, but then again, Atlanta was a poorly run car crash from the beginning, and I hate to say that.
I mean, Atlanta's not a hockey town.
No, it's not.
But,
They had 2 teams in the past, and both of them didn't work out. So it's
Right.
it's very clear that hockey is never going back to Atlanta. If anybody in
Right.
Georgia wants to watch the sport, they can follow the Lightning or the Panthers, or they can follow another team like you're following the Kraken,
Or follow
So, yeah,
Nashville Predators.
or you can follow the Predators, you can follow the Hurricanes, you can follow anybody really,
Right.
Yeah.
or even the Blue Jackets. By the way, did you guys see the sucker punch from Brad Marchand on Tristan Jarry the other night?
Oh, God.
You didn't see it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's been talked about everywhere. If you type in Brad Marchand sucker punches Tristan Jarry, you're gonna see he comes out of nowhere. And Tristan Jarry is just minding his own business. And Brad Marchand out of nowhere, boom, hits him on the side of the face and knocks him down on his ass and literally starts to scramble. And this was considered roughing. And to the point where Brad Marchand got an in-person call from the NHL and they decided to suspend him for 6 games for his actions on Tristan Jarry. And Tristan Jarry is not just any player, Sean. He punched a goalie.
Oh, God.
Wow. Well, I'm looking at it right now and trying to.
Well, again, it is Brad Marchand after all.
Oh, for crying out loud!
See?
Wow.
See what I mean? He just comes out and sucker punches him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, he tries to hit him with a stick too.
Yep. Because it's
Jeez
like,
Louise.
and Jarry tries to take the stick and throw it up to the fans, and Marchand's like, nope, not in my house.
I feel like the goalie's equivalent to the
Kind of ish. Perhaps.
Wow, man, he needs to be suspended for more than 6 games. Give
Yeah,
me
he's a
break.
freaking rat. I'm not surprised. I mean, he's one of the biggest rats in the NHL anyway. He's a good player, but it's like the attitude and the ego that guy gets, and the spotlight that he gets coming from Boston of all people. I'm not too surprised by this, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot.
Well,
Boston.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of back when Sean Avery was in the league, except the only difference is Brad Marchand can actually play well.
Yeah, well, Marchand is. I don't know how you could compare him to today's NHL. I mean, there were a lot of players who were able to fight back then and score goals at the same time. Who would you compare him to if you had to think?
That's a tough one, honestly. But let's see. Claude Lemieux could actually play fairly well. and he could fight.
Oh, I hate
Back at
Golden
that
Beer.
time.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
I hate Darcy Tucker, but that was a big one too at the time.
yeah, Darius Kasparaitis was another one.
Kasparaitis, I interviewed him a couple years ago. Who was another one? There's a handful of them.
Yeah.
People who could score and could fight. There's not that many.
Looking at modern day, I mean, Tom Wilson can do that,
Well, Tom Wilson's also another piece of shit, so I'm not that surprised.
right?
Tom Wilson's another hack. Him and Marshawn should have a duel, basically. They should just duke it off on the ice and see who would actually be more superior in a fight between
Right. I
the
mean,
two.
Ovechkin's another one that can actually drop the gloves and beat the living hell out of somebody, but he actually scores
True. Oh, God. Who's
because he's been
another one?
suspended for stuff before. So,
I was going to say Messier, but then I forgot. Oh, yeah, he's another rat. Great player, but he's a rat.
right. Or if we look all the way back in the day, I mean, there was always good old Ron Hextall who wasn't afraid to beat the living hell out of somebody, but he actually did score a couple times.
Yeah, like 3 times in his entire
Yeah.
career. Oh, speaking of Boston, Tuukka Rask has decided to retire, and he is having hip problems again, and he is going to hang up the skates this time for good.
All right. Well, he had a good career.
He did. And he said, I've realized that my body is not responding the way that it needs to be for me to play at the level that I expect on myself, and that's my teammates and the Bruins fans deserve. Well, dude, you're like 35 years old. You have, your save percentage wasn't that great. Your record wasn't that great coming out of your little retirement. And you had a big shamble with the fan base 2 years ago when his daughter got sick. Remember that, Tom, during the pandemic playoffs?
I do remember that.
That his daughter got really, really sick,
Mm.
and he dropped out and said, I'm not going to play. Remember that shit? And Bruins fans gave him a lot of hell for that. And they didn't realize, oh, that's what this was about? Because they thought he pulled a LeBron. And he just says, oh, I'm just going to quit on the team. Like, no. This was more than that. So,
Yeah, I do remember that. But there's also been some other interesting news in the world of hockey today too. And of course, anyone who is watching, which we do have some people on here, 929-205-6099 gets you on. And of course, we'll be on for another half hour or so. But the Montreal Canadiens made some big changes today. And one of the first things I want to tell you is Vincent Lecavalier and Martin St. Louis are now part of the organization.
oh, hell yeah. I mean, kind of random if you're asking me. I mean, 2 Tampa Bay Lightning legends going over to accommodate the Montreal Canadiens. Why the hell not?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course,
You know what?
Lecavalier is going to have a big say in who comes in because with him going into, was it the assistant general manager role?
Yeah, he's the assistant GM, and St. Louis is now the head coach. See, those 2 hires to me were so far out of their ass. I figured Dominique Ducharme was going to get fired at some point, but I didn't think he was going to get fired within the first year of his 3-year extension. It's why would you extend somebody within a month after making an incredible run to the finals just a year ago, and then all of a sudden you're the worst team in the league, and you have no Carey Price, and you have no talent around you, and yet you fired Dominique Ducharme, who I thought was the least of the team's issues, and now the Montreal Canadiens just go, boom, we're just going to blow it up, and we're going to bring in Marty St. Louis and Vinny Lecavalier to run hockey operations. These 2 guys have no coaching experience or executive experience, and yet here they are about to screw up the Montreal Canadiens even more.
Right. It also has some, it almost makes me wonder, it's what did Montreal see in the 2 of these guys? I mean, they both had great careers. I mean, Martin St. Louis, I mean, they loved him down in Tampa.
Of course they did. Well, I have a better question. Why don't you ask Mr. Clean if he sees any of them with those 2 guys? He's the GM. I forget his name already because he looks like Mr. Magoo, Mr. Clean, Sean even. Although Sean has a recurring hairline, he's not completely bald yet.
And plus, I got facial hair, as you can see.
Yeah, but I don't think that addresses the baldness.
Jeez.
I actually ended up trimming most of my beard, but I also got a lot of my hair shaved off this past Sunday or Saturday.
Hey Tom, would you ever go all around?
Possibly.
Really? You would do that?
I would possibly consider it.
You think
Actually,
you
at
would
one
do
point, I actually considered dyeing my hair more blonde than red.
No. Fuck you. Keep your red hair. Do not do it, Tom.
I mean, I did think about it once, so
Tom, do not do it. You look good with red hair. I promise
yeah,
you.
no, I'm gonna leave it as it is. So
And plus, I think Des would be like, blonde hair. Should have done that.
She'd
I don't
probably
trust me.
slap me upside the head for it.
Trust me, blonde hair only works much better if you were born naturally with it.
Right.
So I don't
So,
think
yeah.
Yeah, you do. Well, you're different, but you're different. She was born with light brown hair, but she dyed her hair blonde, and she's planning to dye it into a different color after the wedding.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. My sister was born with red hair also. Now hers is like a platinum blonde. She ended up purposely dyeing it.
I don't get it. Why do people do that?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Well, so as far as other hockey news comes around, the reverse retros are coming back, and there's some news updates about next year, and that is the Bruins will be hosting the 2023 Winter Classic at Fenway Park next year. The question is, who do they play?
Right.
So that's that. And the Carolina Hurricanes, as promised, are getting an outdoor game in 2023, and there will be games in the Czech Republic, Finland, Germany, and Switzerland next year. And the NHL All-Star Game will be in South Florida next season.
Wow.
That's an interesting move, but I will say this: the Panthers are finally, for the first time, and I can't even remember how long.
Yeah,
they're playing well. They're actually getting people to watch the games in the arena.
I find that embarrassing because I remember they had about 20 years ago. I remember the Florida Panthers. Was it 2004, Tom? If I remember correctly, 2003 or 2004, one of those 2 years. And the Panthers hosted the All-Star Game in Florida, and the Panthers were the hosts, and they were god awful. And this is when they had Roberto Luongo on their team at that time in his first term.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was around 2004, and same thing. They just couldn't draw anybody, and Luongo was a good goaltender for his entire career. So,
too bad the Panthers ruined him.
Yeah, they did. But apparently, I guess they finally figured it out. Hey, if we actually play well, we'll get more than 8,000 fans a night.
Well, I would not mind Florida winning the cup. I don't hate Florida just because they're in the same division as Buffalo. I don't really consider them as a rival per se. I never did. I do agree with Tampa being a rival because they're a bigger pain in the ass than Florida. And that's just me personally.
Right. And usually we have some little bit of scrums whenever we've played Tampa. So I mean that's always happened. I mean that's been more of a rivalry ever since they came into the league. But God, I remember some of the original scrums and problems we had with Ottawa when they first started up, and Rob Ray would always be getting into fights with them when they came into the league. But the rivalry I really hate, or the rivalry I really miss though, is Buffalo and Quebec, because those teams hated each other with a passion. It was kind of like Buffalo and Toronto, how they can't stand each other. Buffalo and Quebec was even more in terms of that. And that was the time when Rob Ray went into the stands and ended up fighting a fan.
I remember that. And that was a true story. Rob Ray, one time when he was playing for the Sabres, a drunk fan jumped onto the ice, and Rob Ray went over by the Sabres bench, grabs him, and starts beating the hell out of him.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, got his ass whooped.
Just type in Rob Ray.
Good. He deserved it.
Just type in Rob Ray beats up fan, and you'll see what we're talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of Germany, since you mentioned it, if I could just go back to the NFL real quick.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's going to be 5 international games for this upcoming 2022 season. 1 in Munich, 1 in Mexico City, and 3 in London.
And you forgot one. Actually, I have the tweet right here.
It's 5.
Well, yeah, Rappaport, and I know what you're talking about. Ian Rappaport said that Roger Goodell announced that Munich will host a game in 2022, and there will be 4 total games in Germany in the next 4 years, 2 in Munich and 2 in Frankfurt. And in addition, there will also be a game in Mexico next season. I really hope it's not that Cincinnati game, because that would be the biggest kick in the nuts. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, better not be that.
It is.
I don't think it's going to be.
I hope not.
I don't think it's going to be, but I think it's going to be.
I hope not, but if you think about it, the fact that the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, and I don't know, and like the Bills are well known, you never know.
Actually, I think for Mexico, I think they're gonna have the Jaguars play the Browns.
I don't like if they have these international.
You don't like it?
No,
Why?
because like the fans that are here, unless they're traveling overseas, they can't go to the games.
So make plans.
That's not that easy.
I know that.
I mean, if you think about it, we're not really used to getting up early to watch early in the morning to watch a game. So
Yeah.
it kind of it makes sense if you think about it
Kind of
because of
does.
different time zones and whatnot.
Yeah, I can kind of see why, but it is what it is. But we'll see who goes. I could see the Bills getting a game in Germany. I could definitely see that happening. It's
That'd
very
be awesome.
possible. I don't think it's going to be against Cincinnati. I think it's going to be someone like against the Rams or someone or somebody. I think it's like usually when they do these international games, it's usually against the really bad teams because they're like they need to get some sort of recognition. I could see like Jacksonville getting a game in Germany rather than London, and I can also see I could see the Dolphins going there. I don't know. We'll find out when the schedule comes out. I think it's only safe to say because they will not announce who is in the freaking games until later this year. So we're not going to know for sure.
Mhm.
Got it. You know what? I think I've seen that. I think I might have seen that that Rob Ray clip before.
Yeah, as I say, I just sent a clip. Just sent it to you on your Instagram, just so you could take a look.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
That
Oh.
man was an idiot.
They are
What the freak was he thinking?
I haven't watched the game in Germany. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning.
or 1:30 or 9:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
So they have to have it later in the day in Germany.
Of course, that's how they have to balance it. That's the only way they're going to do these games.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I know you don't.
It's American football.
It's true, but there's also international fans everywhere too. So it's much bigger than just outside of America. But anyway, so with that being said,
You know how much money that's gonna cost them a week?
none, but they're a monopoly. They can do whatever they want. I'm just saying, they're a monopoly. They can do whatever they want. That's their cash. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So did you guys hear about what the speaking of Canada, because you mentioned Quebec, Montreal, and I forgot to mention this, is the Canadians are getting the NHL draft in this summer.
Yep, and apparently Batman still thinks, "Oh, we're gonna have a full crowd here." Yeah.
Nope.
Ain't happening.
And if things don't change, there's a very good chance that they could relocate the event from Montreal to somewhere else. If I'm being honest, I think there's a chance they could move it to Seattle.
Hmm.
That would be pretty interesting, honestly.
We'll see
Yeah.
how it goes. We'll find out in like April if if things change by that point. We'll find out. So and on top of all that, the last thing for hockey, and then we'll go right into football, is the Blackhawks are looking for a new GM. And quite frankly, they're looking at Peter Chiarelli and they're looking at a few handful of executives from the Chicago Cubs.
Oh. I guess the first question, why are they looking at baseball executives to come in and run the hockey team, number one? And number two, I mean, Chiarelli, okay, I mean, that's a safe pick. He's not the
No.
greatest at it, but at the same time, he's not the worst at it.
I would not hire that guy, period. I'm just stating a fact. No way.
Right. Well, I mean, if we look back at what he did with Edmonton, I mean, that's a good example of why not to.
Or Boston. We can just go as back as Boston. I mean, look what he did with freaking Tyler Seguin. He got traded him for nothing, basically. I mean, yeah, they had a couple of good years, but with Louis Erickson, but still, the Bruins, they screwed themselves over big time by trading Seguin, period.
Yeah, they really did. In Sagan, they got basically nothing back for him.
Yeah, practically so. So let's shifting our gears to football now, because I know she's looking forward to this. We were talking about Arizona earlier today, right? Because you were like, "Oh, what are we going to do first? Are we going to talk about the Coyotes, or are we going to talk about Kyle Murray screwing everyone over?" Right?
Yep.
Well, can we please get through the point of Kyler Murray? Can someone explain this to me? Why is Kyler Murray all of a sudden unfollowing the Cardinals on social media? Does anybody know?
I love how that's the big deal when a player unfollows a team on social social media.
Yeah, because that freaking happened with Antonio Brown.
Exactly, and they always make that a point to put that in the headline.
Julio Jones did it a year before he got traded to the Titans. So what's the deal? Like, what is going on in Arizona? Does anybody have any ideas?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what's happening there just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't know what it is. Is it a room full of egos or egomaniacs? Is it Cliff Kingsbury because he's a shithead coach? Is it Kyler Murray? Is he too small and being insulted by the Cardinals themselves and saying, dude, you're athletic, you're quick, you're small, you're one of the better ones in the league, but we just don't think that you're the proper size to be a QB? Or is it just the fact that, they have so much talent that DeAndre Hopkins is not getting the ball enough because how small Kyler Murray is? What is the deal in Arizona? Is it ownership? Is it general manager's positioning? What? No, he can't.
It could be. It could be all the above.
Yeah, it really could, because I mean, let's look back at a few things. I mean, he did play in a Pro Bowl, obviously, but he ends up scrubbing his Instagram account of all but 2 pictures. One of them was at the Pro Bowl, including with Dallas Cowboys receiver CeeDee Lamb, and then one about winning the Heisman Trophy. So he had that. A lot of times when stuff like that happens, usually it means that they're not happy with the direction of the team. And I almost have to wonder if it's coaching, if it's a GM situation, or if it's both. Plus, here's the other thing. Kyler Murray is at that point where the 5th-year option can be brought up. So it almost makes me wonder, it's like, does he want out of Arizona to go to a different market? Because, I mean, they do have control of his contract for the next 2 seasons. And he is eligible for an extension this offseason. So I'm just wondering if it's just he wants to change the scenery and he wants to get out of there.
Well, what do you think, Brett?
Well, I don't really have an opinion on Arizona.
Well, it's not about Arizona. It's about what he's doing. Because no starting QB in this league just comes out of nowhere and says, hey, I'm going to unfollow an NFL team that I actually play for. Because only players like Julio Jones and Antonio Brown.
I get it. I think it's just a little immature. I think it's, why do they make it such a big deal? Like, talk to your organization, lay out the points that you think should be changed, ways to change it, or if not, request a trade. I don't know why it always has to be such a big deal.
Well, if he requests a trade out of Arizona, they can get a ransom in return for him, whoever decides to trade for him.
I mean, I don't think he's a bad QB or anything. I don't know if the organization completely has his back.
I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think?
I mean, the only other thing I can kind of think about, and this is actually something that Ron Rivera had mentioned, but apparently Steve Wilkes and his coaching staff with the Cardinals is part of the problem, and that goes back to 2018.
But Murray wasn't even on the team at the time.
Right. So he did mention that, but your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I have to think it's a coaching issue somewhere.
I mean, I don't know what's dumber, this trade request rumor or the Washington Commanders name. I don't know what's dumber.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. This again.
That again. We're going to be hearing that for the rest of our lives. Get used to it. I know. You can go take a shit somewhere where no one can see, and you can shit all over it. I know.
They're going to be known as a no-name.
It's still an absolute joke of a team name.
Yeah, it really is. Like, and Vinny mentioned last week on the show that, watch them change their name until like mid-August or something. They're going to get so much backlash on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know at this point. I think they're way too confident in this whole scenario with the name. I really don't know, but it is what it is, and you can only do so much with it. But while we're on the topic of Washington, tell me if this is something that you would never expect to hear from it. Ready? From Kevin Sheehan, who I believe is a writer for the Washington area. He says, and I quote, that Russell Wilson is, quote, not against the idea of playing for the Washington Commanders next week. And just a few days ago, Russell Wilson has said that he wants to be exploring his options in the market this offseason as far as the trade goes. But why Washington?
Hasn't he been in Seattle for like 10 years?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Yes.
He likes
Yeah.
the name.
Oh God. Seriously.
I don't know what to make out of that.
Why
Me
Washington?
neither.
Like, why go
Yo,
there?
Like,
You know what I
who,
mean?
who do they have? Let's be real.
Well-
Who do they have?
Well, they have, let's see, they have Antonio Gibson, they
Mhm.
have Terry McLaurin, they have a decent offensive line.
They're just average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Heineke, to be fair, is pretty damn good, but he's not a starting quarterback.
Right. And he's
Right.
not going to be really for a while,
Poor bastard.
if ever.
I mean,
Right.
seriously. I mean, as stupid as that name is, and as stupid as that logo is, I don't understand what is the impression that Russell Wilson is getting from playing for Washington. I don't understand it.
Me either. I mean, it's a lot of players, as far as I know. Usually, Washington is not a spot you want to go, especially with Dan Snyder owning the team.
Oh God. And he's under investigation apparently for sexual assault allegations.
Of course.
And the NFL's doing their own investigation. I know how this plays
That
out.
means they're just gonna talk
Yeah, they find
Literally,
nothing.
another
and
one.
it's- Yep.
At the further review, we have absolute no proof that Dan Snyder touched this woman or spoke to this woman.
Mhm.
Why would Russell Wilson even consider that, man? Like, good gosh. I,
Like honestly, Wilson would be
Like,
better
what-
off
like-
going to Indianapolis, if anything. At least Indy has some types of weapons over there.
Or better yet, I have a better one. Why don't you go to Tampa Bay? You know, they're going to need a QB unless Tom Brady sometimes says, hey, it's been 6 months, but I like to come back.
oh gosh. Dude,
I don't
just
know,
stay retired.
Hey,
I don't
memo
know.
to Tom Brady: stay retired.
Oh, God. The
Good
media,
gosh.
the thing about the media is they're now getting to a point where they miss Tom Brady so much and they love milking the moose so much to the point where they're making up articles about him saying that he was contemplating of coming out of retirement just a week after. Seriously,
Yeah, I saw some of that.
like and
Why?
yeah, and there was one article that I read this past week during the day that said, "Oh, in order for the Buccaneers, because in technical logics here, Tom Brady is under contract for 3 more years on Tampa Bay, and he only just expired on the first year of that new extension he got about a year ago. So anyway, so since he's technically still under contract, the Buccaneers could trade his rights to the 49ers for Jimmy Garoppolo. That was the article I read. I'm like, imagine being that fucking stupid to trade Tom Brady's contract to San Francisco for Jimmy
Oh,
G, who choked
gosh.
in the playoffs.
Wow.
Like for right? Did you see the way the guy played? Oh,
And Jimmy
Seriously.
G is good as gone in San Fran at this point.
Oh yeah, he's
yeah.
done.
Yeah,
He's
Definitely.
done.
He's done.
Didn't they already part ways with him?
Not yet.
Oh.
The issue was Jimmy G said, okay, Niners, I know I'm not going to be here next year, so let's just find me a trade partner. And they may have found at least 3. And the earliest they can get for Jimmy G is a second rounder, unless someone's that desperate to take his shittiness and get a first round pick for him.
I don't think he's worth it.
good gosh.
No, absolutely not. The most I would trade is a third. That's the most I would trade. If you're Jimmy Garoppolo, I would definitely be traded for a third round pick. Like
Yeah.
Pittsburgh would be a good example. Tampa Bay would be a good example. I would say Seattle even if Russell Wilson is gone.
Yeah, they're gonna need a QB.
Steelers.
I can see one. Steelers.
I would not even count out Denver if they, God forbid, don't get Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Well, it's bad enough they got Josh McDaniel. Well, no, not Josh McDaniels. Suit. Well,
What?
actually, I was gonna say bad enough the Raiders got Josh McDaniels running the team now, but
Yeah, and now they're going to trade Derek Carr to the Packers and then swap him for Aaron Rodgers and get Devontae Adams.
Really,
and-
Derek Carr wants the Packers?
There's a possibility.
Wow, a lot of this being shucking up.
Well, that's the crazy part about the offseason is
Yeah.
Like maybe QBs though.
QBs and another player that's on the trade market and most likely is going to be traded is Calvin Ridley.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Calvin Ridley is another player that is on the block for the Atlanta Falcons. He's another player that could be available. Yep, big ass lead.
Yeah.
And he quit on them in the middle of the season. And a lot of fantasy owners, including myself, were just like, Calvin, why would you leave? Are you going to come back at all? So my question is, does Calvin Ridley want to stay in Atlanta, or do you think, like, where do you think he goes?
I honestly don't know where he goes at this point because the fact is he quit on the team.
He should be. What about you, Sean? What do you think? Calvin Ridley.
Ugh. Honestly, it's really hard to tell. I got to be real with you. I really don't know.
I have one team in mind. What about you? Any ideas?
What position is it?
He's a wide receiver. Plays for the Falcons. For me, though, because we're in the middle of that conversation, I'm going to say the New England Patriots. Yeah, I can see the Patriots getting Calvin Ridley. I think that's a very strong possibility. And what else happened? As far as trade rumors go, well, it's not really. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, supposedly he bought land last week in Nashville, and people were entertaining the idea that, oh, he might go play for the Titans next year. And then the Titans are like, no, we're not getting Aaron Rodgers. Don't even think about it. We're not getting Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Right. Well, the other thing you got to remember too,
retire.
New Orleans still needs a QB.
True. Well, Green Bay is desperately going to need a QB. In fact, now that I think about it, I can actually see Jimmy G going to Green Bay, unless they stick with Jordan Love. I don't know.
Jordan Love has not impressed me anything, and like any time that he's played in the time that he's been there.
Yeah, no shit, because Aaron Rodgers took up the majority of those spots.
Right. And even when Jordan Love's been in there, he sucks.
Yeah, basically. I mean, he's not beating teams like Alvin Kamara's beating guys up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, how about that? He ends up
Oh man.
the whole thing about the felony charges is the day before the Pro Bowl, and he still plays in the Pro Bowl.
Right? How?
I don't get it. Like, I don't like. How did you get arrested beforehand? You know, because I read a report that said that Alvin Kamara's incident with the whole assault thing came a day before the Pro Bowl, and yet was allowed to play in it. But it turned out that he actually committed the crime after the Pro Bowl. Like, what did you do to commit all that?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, and the problem is video surveillance came out, and it's very clear that Kamara did it intentionally, and the guy was fighting for self-defense. And it's just a ridiculous story. I mean, his mugshot says a lot. So, honestly, I don't know. And this was the one guy I wanted the Bills to get. But now that came out, I don't know if the Bills want him at this point.
No, we don't need any headaches on the team. Screw that.
It makes me wonder, did he pull a Richard Sherman, drink like 500 fifths of Hennessy or something, and then basically had no clue what he was doing when Sherman ended up breaking into that house?
Basically, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows?
Right.
And speaking of New Orleans, Dennis Allen is the final vacancy to be filled, and Dennis Allen is now the new head coach of the New Orleans Saints. And all of the coaches, all 9 of them, have been voided out this year. So kudos on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, good to see Dennis Allen back in the gig again. And it kind of gets me thinking now. And actually, it's something we talked about a lot last week. But the Brian Flores story just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Tell me, what happened now? Is there something I'm missing?
So, Stephen Ross is now categorically denying the tanking allegations. And now he's basically saying that is defamation that Brian Flores brought it out. And then on top of it, Brian Flores was talking about the Lovie Smith hiring down in Houston, and talking about how Flores would have been in the top group of candidates, but he didn't get hired because he exposed all this stuff.
Yeah, basically. Oh, and Mr. Flores, of all people, decided to whine like a bitch again because he didn't get the job for the Texans with the fact that they brought in Lovie Smith. And then his lawyer comes out and says, Mr. Flores is happy to hear that the Texans have hired Mr. Black head coach Lovie Smith, as Mr. Flores' goal is to bring in his case to provide real opportunities for blacks and minorities candidates to be considered for the coaching candidacy and executive positions within the league. However, we would be remiss not to mention that Mr. Flores is one of the 3 finalists for the job, and after a great interview and mutual interest, it's obvious that the only reason he did not get the job was decisions to stand up on racial equality across the league.
Oh, shut up.
I mean,
Good gosh.
we can thank Stephen Ross for starting this whole issue.
Well, I would say we should thank the Giants for this bullshit
Well,
because
that
they're
too.
the ones that made Brian Flores go to dinner last week or 2 weeks ago when they were doing the interview process before Dable, and they made him sit at the dinner table while they were hiring Brian Dable, and knowing
Right.
fully well he was not getting the job. So
And
now
we
his
thank
team,
Bill Belichick for releasing that text message.
yeah. So basically, Flores' lawsuit is a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what the NFL does with investigating the tanking allegations, which supposedly they're going to do.
I don't think they're gonna do anything, and that's just being honest.
Right. But on the flip side, though, Congress is looking into the tanking allegations now that Brian Flores brought up. So now Stephen
Congress?
Flores is going to have to deal with the federal government, possibly.
No. The last thing that the federal government should be worried about is trying to get their shit together when they know full well they're going to lose in an election year, rather than worrying about Brian Flores. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they got their own problems going on right now. They don't,
Right.
need to they don't need to be focusing on this.
Right.
No.
But apparently they're taking an interest to it.
Oh, by the way, did you hear
Oh,
about
yeah.
that? Just to kind of get off topic because we're talking about Brian Flores. Did any of you see that stupid propaganda trailer from Showtime?
Oh my God.
See, Sean knows. Sean knows.
You know what?
All right.
Why? Just I don't get it. Ugh.
Tell us, Sean.
Sean's ready to walk out.
Yeah, Sean's ready to he's like, fuck this, I'm out. Screw you guys, I'm going home. All right, fire away. I know you have a lot to say. Just let it all out.
Oh boy. All right. Let me.
Sean's
I
going
don't
to take a
even know
moment
what-
to put together what he wants to say here because I know he wants to just let it rip here.
Just let it out.
all these people in that trailer are the freaking scum of the earth. People like them are the reasons why racism will never die.
Yeah.
My gosh, they want to. I don't even know where to begin with this.
All right. So
I really don't. This is the very epitome of wokeness. Absolutely. I'm obviously I'm disgusted by it. Like,
Right.
dude, you talk about what? You talk about race, want to have racial equality and all that stuff. What? Mm.
Are they doing it just because it's like Black History Month?
I think so. And the name of the title of this
Oh,
so-called
yeah.
document from Showtime is called "It's Gonna Be All White." No joke. That's the actual name.
Yeah, that's literally what it's called. And at first I thought it was a movie, but no, it's a series.
That's
It's a
right.
freaking series. Why?
Why don't they just add Brian Flores as like a special guest so that he can
Hey.
monologue?
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, put him on the series. Why not?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Why don't we just put him on there and have him
These-
whine and cry
these
that he didn't get a job
people
in
are
the NFL
pathetic, man.
for screwing himself over?
These people are freaking pathetic. This is just
I
as
know.
bad as the Colin Kaepernick documentary or whatever the freak
Oh
it is.
God.
Oh God, I remember that.
Just as bad, if not worse.
Right.
No. It's like a combination of Tiger King / white people.
Right. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know-
that's an epic fail. Showtime.
It's like this is Brian Flores. You know what happened? You know why I didn't get a job? White people.
Oh my
Yeah. It's
gosh.
Stephen
Oh,
Ross's fault.
Man. Talk about
That's
Showtime
ridiculous.
I'll bet
screwed
this-
up majorly.
Carol
gosh.
Baskin.
They freaking
Killer.
I'm trying to look it up and freaking see how I'm trying to look it up on YouTube to see how bad the ratio is.
Wait. As
Oh,
if
man.
you're like Stephen Ross killing black people's jobs in the league.
Oh gosh.
Stephen Ross is just an idiot.
I'm just having a field day.
Uh,
But I will say though,
all right,
actually,
let me
over the
see.
weekend, I actually had a chance to check out
Oh,
the new Alex Smith documentary that came out.
oh,
What documentary?
damn.
Oh,
I'm Like, all right, so I got this Chrome extension where I can see the dislikes on YouTube,
Yeah.
and my gosh, 1,500 likes to 44,000 dislikes.
Oh.
And not only that, but I also
My
think
gosh.
and not only that, but the show, the trailer was on various YouTube channels, and most of the people who watch it, including all of us in here, were like, "Wow, that is racist."
Literally, for real, literally ratio to high heaven. My
Right.
gosh.
You screwed up, Showtime. You majorly
Yeah.
screwed up.
Yeah, you
Let's give her
did.
a round of applause. Good job.
Yeah, biggest screw up of the year. Oh
Dumbass.
man. But I will
Oh my
say
gosh.
on this note though, I did have a chance to watch Project 11, the Alex Smith story over the weekend, and that's one of the E60 documentaries that came out on ESPN. And I still gotta give Alex Smith credit for how he came back after that leg break. That was actually a really interesting story to watch. And with him with recovering from the compound fracture that he had, which was probably one of the worst that I've seen, with only Theismann's being worse than what Alex Smith went through. But it totally went through like the whole surgery, how he almost lost his leg, how he had to have like the muscles removed and skin grafts and all this stuff, and how he came back to play. And I'll tell you, it's like, I mean, Alex Smith gets a ton of credit. He's got my respect for the way he came back after 2 years and then went out on his own terms. So, I mean, great story if you guys get a chance to watch it.
Mm. Is it still racist? Brian Flores should be like a guest on that movie series. And also, I love how Brittany is like behind me here, and yet she's like, "What's your favorite Super Bowl dish, guys?"
Trying to have a conversation going in the chat.
Yeah, that's funny. Who's your favorite team?
I should-
Yeah.
I'm just like, bruh.
Oh man. Yeah. We do have people watching today too. So basically, Jared Reed, he's actually in the chat. First time I've seen him in here, so definitely feel free to hang out for a while. He commented on keeping McKenzie. Then he also said, and that was actually with the question, if you had to pick one, Beasley or McKenzie. Katie Trent says unwarranted hate, and I think she's referring possibly to the whole Flores situation.
Who, her?
And yeah, I see she's watching in here today, so definitely
pointing at
nice
my
to hear
wife.
both.
I was pointing at my wife. Yep, John's ready to rip some heads. I could just tell with his posture. He's like, I'm so sick of everything around here.
Wait, Tom, you can see who's watching?
I wouldn't be surprised if him and Kaepernick were on the freaking series. I would
Yeah.
not be surprised.
I think there's another person in the chat named Kitty Branoff. I think
Gosh,
I think she's gonna be asking questions too.
what a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
so
mean,
too.
it goes back to the conversation we had last week. It's like everyone is equal. Everyone should be, let's look at everyone based on their specific qualifications, and let's have it as a level playing field. There should not even be such a thing as a Rooney Rule, because there really shouldn't even need to be a Rooney Rule.
Right?
Just let it be on the qualifications. And actually, there is one more story I do want to talk about before we wrap up tonight. But TV executive Byron Allen is actually looking at buying one of the football teams in the league.
What team?
So this actually
Byron?
just came out, but let me bring it up here real quick. So he was actually rumored to start to prepare a bid for the Denver Broncos.
Wow, look at that. Byron Allen, eh? I've heard that name before last
Yep.
week, and I'm like, if he buys the team, he'll be the first black owner in the league. I'm like, well, okay, congratulations. That's a hell of a milestone for the league. But then again, it will go against the NFL's racial inequality.
Yeah, so here's what came out with that. So he is looking to buy the Denver Broncos because the owners are, of course, looking to sell the team at this point. And basically, with him, he's expected to include investors from Wall Street, Hollywood, sports, and business. Basically, the group would put down 75% of the price in liquid assets, and the NFL requires at least 30%. So he's well exceeding that. Basically, with Byron Allen, he did sign a multi-platform partnership with Google, and he's also bidding for major TV group station owner Tegna, which runs over 50 some TV stations across the United States, which covers a good portion of the country. And actually in Buffalo, we have one of our local stations is run by Tegna also. But he also has entertainment.tv, which has produced some series. He also attempted a bid for Comcast in the past, from what I remember. And comments that Byron Allen came out, he said, quote, "And after serious consideration, I strongly believe I can help effectuate positive changes throughout the league. And for that reason, I will be making a bid for the Denver Broncos." So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But apparently it says that Allen could bid up to $4 billion to get the Broncos.
$4 billion to buy the Broncos.
Wow.
Between $3 to $4 billion.
Now, is he
Wow.
going to be one of those guys to be like, okay, guys, I bought you for $4 billion. Now I want Drew Lock to be dressed up in a tutu and wear fairy wings on his back. Make sure he gets sacked with no offensive line. It makes him and while he's getting tackled to the ground, just have him swing a wand and hope in vain that he doesn't get injured in his next game.
Right. But here's the other thing. Roger Goodell and of course, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft also approached Byron Allen in 2019 and asked him to take a good look at buying any NFL team. So, and Byron Allen runs Allen Media Group. So it looks like the two of them really want him to take a look at bidding on this team. And it seems like that he could be one of the front runners, honestly. So, same thing. I mean, he runs a successful business. He has a successful media empire. He's been bidding to expand his business. And, hey, if he gets it, good stuff. Let's see what he can do with the team.
He looks like Sean without a beard.
There
Boy.
you go.
John, look at your uncle. Look.
Oh, jeez.
He
Yeah,
looks like
I used to be told I looked like Byron Brown.
really?
Yeah, like years ago. I don't even know how that's even possible.
I don't
Right.
know.
Right. But no, I mean, if he gets the team, then hey, more power to him. And I mean, he's got the assets and the investors, and he's ready to do it. So, if he can make it happen, then it's a good thing. And let's just see what he does.
Yeah. Well, good
Yep,
for him
yep.
though. Actually, you know what, Tom? He actually looks like Kevin Weeks a little bit.
Yeah, that is true.
Looks like Kevin Weeks.
Hmm.
Funny times. So, is there anything else you guys want to say before we go?
Well, there is one thing I wanted to bring up. Back
Oh.
to the Bills' new coaching staff.
Yeah.
Joe Brady, new quarterbacks coach. So, fun fact: 2019, he was the passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach for LSU. And that same year, during Joe Burrow and LSU's perfect season.
Nice.
How about that?
Oh, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to see what he can do here, honestly. I mean, I think it's a nice
am I.
change. And I mean, with him and Dorsey working together, I mean, I do think that they can put together some nice changes on the offense.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And speaking of the Bengals, did you guys hear the rumors about Gronk earlier today?
No, I didn't hear that, but what, Gronk's looking to go to Cincinnati?
Well, supposedly a rumor came out today. Gronk himself was praising Joe Burrow like never before. Because you know how he was saying that he was going to play even if Brady were to retire? Remember that comment he made a little while back?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out he's trying to prove his point. And that is that because he knows the Buccaneers are going to be a shithole in the next couple of years, that you're going into next year even without Brady, and they know that, there's a very strong chance that Gronk, of all people, is rumored and has decided that he wants to play in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow next year.
The thing that bothers me
Hmm.
is I feel like
So-
this guy always has to be in the spotlight. Going from
So let me get this straight. You want to go to Cincinnati, but yet you grew up in Buffalo and you don't want to play with Josh Allen.
I don't want him in Buffalo.
Well,
Honestly,
neither,
yeah,
'cause
me
he
neither.
totally
To be
kills
honest,
Sullivan.
not honestly, not since that blatant hit on Trey White.
Right.
I can't.
Oh yeah, and he's like, it didn't matter. I didn't have to play football for a week. I got paid either way. Fucking asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. but
Asshole.
yeah, we'll see what happens with it. But hey, you know, the Rams versus Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. May the better team win. Let's see what happens. And of course, anyone have any other final thoughts before we wrap up?
I'm good. Britt, what about you?
No.
She's
Yeah,
good.
I'm all set.
Yeah, I'm all set. Oh, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out at some point in the near future.
Nice.
Finally, a
It's
new
about time.
GTA game. Good gosh. Well,
I was
how
gonna say,
long
Five's
was?
been out forever.
Like
Yeah,
10
like
years.
freaking good. Wow.
Like 10 years.
10 Yeah,
years.
something like that.
Sheesh.
Yeah, 10 years max.
Right.
Finally.
Yeah. GTA 6. I actually, I know, John, you'll probably be reviewing it on your channel when it comes out.
Me?
Yeah, it might be. Who
Yeah.
knows?
I can see it now. I can be like, good evening, guys. This is Mr. Boba Met. Hope you guys are doing well. And this is Grand Theft Auto 6. And I think it's good. You should check it out.
Yeah, something like that.
right. Right. Like I say, man, you've had some pretty good stuff on your channel lately too. Because I watched some of your feedback videos and stuff like that. So you know, good stuff, man. Keep that going. So
Yeah. I actually got to get back into the swing of things with my channel personally. And of course, I'm Buffalo After Dark. And I got this chick to help me out with that.
there you go. New content coming soon.
Buffalo Bills content.
There you
And she's
go.
been dying to do one for a while.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Yep.
So I other than that, I have no other comments.
Yeah, I'm good to go here too. And yeah, so what we'll do, it's another week. So we'll be back next Wednesday. We'll go over the Super Bowl and of course any other news that comes up this week. But in the meantime, of course, we want to say thanks for watching as usual. And of course, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you next time.
Buffalo After Dark is an Asian H Studio production and is produced in partnership with Horns and Hooves Entertainment.